Hello everyone. So this reading is for everyone whose sun sign is in the water element. So that is Scorpios, Cancers, and Pisces. So like I've been telling the rest of the people in their videos, if that isn't you, but you have somehow found your way to this video and you want to keep watching it, that's okay. Maybe you have an ascendant or a moon that's in one of those signs, and your guides or your intuition, fate, whatever you want to call it, has brought you to this video because there's some information in here for you as well. So the reading I'm doing is for the summer 2015. It's an 8-card reading. I'm going to do 4 categories. I'm going to do earth, air, fire, and water. So earth is all material possessions, money. So that's cars, your home, and home environment. Also, any, like I said, any material possessions, as well as your physical body and your physical body's health, of course, with that. Air is your communication and your thoughts. So it's going to be self-talk, beliefs, the way you communicate with others, writing. Fire is your actions, as well as your passion, your motivation, and your drive. And water is the emotional world. So that's going to be your emotional health. It can have a lot to do with relationships, as can all of them really, especially air and fire. But it can have a lot to do with relationships, romantic and otherwise, where feelings and emotions are involved. Alright, so there's going to be 2 cards for each of those categories. Here we go. I'm going to start with Earth. And the first card is Adventure. This is rainbows or pentacle suit in other decks. And that's coupled with the 4 of Swords, recuperation. And then air, source. This is a fire card, or wands in other decks. And with that, we have transition, which is the King of Cups. For fire, experiencing, 3 of fire, or 3 of wands. And inversion, suspension. This is a major arcana card. Water, going with the flow. And 9 of Swords, desperation. Okay, so I'm going to look at these a little bit, and I'm going to show you the spread reversed and facing you while I do that. Okay, so it looks like in the earth realm, so the material realm, that some loosening up is really advised, to try and relax and come at things from a more lighthearted, playful, childlike state. And also I'm seeing if for physical health it's important this summer to relax and try to have fun, loosen up, like I said. There could be some things going on with money, or if you're thinking about making a large purchase, like buying a house or a car, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a large one either. There could be some need to kind of rethink it, but not in an analytical way that's very much in your head. It's more about relaxing and releasing tension and getting in touch with nature and the way of nature, getting in touch with your inner peace, relaxing and seeing what comes from that when you let go of all of the thinking and analyzing, and you let go of just pushing forward, to step back, relax. And I mean, these cards, right in the booklet, this card, it says that it's an ideal time to take a vacation. So if you can do that for your health. Also, like I said, though, I'm seeing, there might be a change that's needed. You might need to change course on your path in regards to something in your home life, something to do with money and finance. It could be anything. It could be anything from deciding to sell things to make your life better and run smoother, or things that you need to buy. Anything in this area, it would be good to step back away from it and give yourself a little more time before making decisions you're about to make, and allow yourself to recuperate from tension and stress, and then see how you feel after that. And again, important for health to do this as well, to make sure to be getting some relaxation and loosening up. Also, doing exercise that helps loosen your body up and relieve physical tension that way. As long as it's stuff that you enjoy, make sure it's something that's fun for you and doesn't feel like more work. Alright, so over here in the air sector, we have these two cards. And what I'm seeing with this is a need to shift perspective a little bit. Well, for some of you it may be a lot. What I'm seeing is being overly judgmental in certain situations, and maybe. Okay, so I'm a water sign as well, so you may hear me saying we in this reading instead of just you sometimes. What I'm saying is maybe being some overly judgmental towards others in the way you speak to people. Maybe some patterns have developed where you have certain beliefs about them or about the way things should be or shouldn't be in the world, or what others should or shouldn't be doing, whether their behaviors are acceptable or not, all these kinds of things. And these cards are suggesting that try to change that. It's okay to have opinions and, use your judgment for sure, but to understand that everybody's got a different perspective, and not everything in the world is black and white, right or wrong. You may not be wrong, you may be right, but that doesn't mean that others are wrong per se either. Even when they are, if their actions are immoral and hurting others in a way, to understand that everybody's got a different perspective, everybody's been through different things, and not everybody can handle things like you would. To really connect back with the fact that we are all source energy. We all come from the same place, and other people really in this world, we have separate bodies and we're individuals, and that's a valid perspective. But there is another perspective too that is equally valid, that we are all one, we are all connected, we are all energy, we're all source energy. So doing things that help you reconnect to that universal truth. For me, a big one is getting back into nature and meditation. Doing things that allow you to feel connected and like you are a part of that. Looking for similarities when you talk to people, perhaps throughout the summer, or in your writing if you're a writer, write. And also when you communicate with yourself, again, if you're being hard on yourself, try to develop some sympathy and empathy and understand that, especially if you're doing a lot of comparing yourself and judging yourself based on what you see others doing. So, why do I always do this? I shouldn't do this. What is wrong with me? Everybody else seems to be able to, do whatever it is they're doing. Everybody else seems to be able to pay their rent on time. What is wrong with me? I'm such a failure. These kinds of things. Try to step away from the judgment and do what you need to do to connect into source. Source energy is empowering, and I'm really seeing that with this reading, which I'll get into more when I do an overview look at it. So trying to pull away from the judgmentalness in your writing, your communication with others, and understand that while we're all individuals, we all have things in common as well, and we're all energy. So what sort of shift can you make that will make you feel better ultimately? Over here in actions, well, in the fire, so in actions and your drive and your inspiration, we have experiencing and suspension inversion. it looks like it's a good time this summer to, again, we have a card that supports, relaxing. It looks like it's a good time to kind of slow down with your actions, not necessarily to make sure that you're being less productive, but to slow down in a way that allows you to pay more attention, to experience what is going on, to be in the moment. It's really easy sometimes to get caught up in things, get busy, and be doing things and really not be mindful of what's going on, what's happening in the moment. To be thinking about other things while you're doing things, cooking dinner and thinking about, the future, the past, what somebody said to you, a TV show, things that are completely irrelevant, just be all over the place. This is about using focus and discipline to be more in the moment and be able to thus appreciate and enjoy life more. On the card, there's a woman with a tree. It's a really beautiful tree, and she's really, there and observing it. So, you can, I'm going to take it to nature. If you're going for a walk, to a store, so you need to get something from the store up the road, so you go for a walk to the store. You can go for a walk and pay hardly any attention to your surroundings. Just pay enough attention to make sure you're not falling over, tripping over rocks, that kind of thing. And, do the same thing on the way home after you grab your stuff. And pay no attention in the store except to, get the right materials and, pay for it with the right amount of change and not give them enough. Not give them too much. Or you can take it all in. You can go for your walk and you can really breathe in the air and observe the smells around you and what the air feels like in your lungs and what the trees look like. And well, I walk barefoot, so for me it would be what the grass or the dirt feel like under my feet. But what your body feels like while you're walking, all of these different things in the very moment. So when you're taking actions, whatever actions they are, try to be more mindful this summer. That's the advice I'm getting from the cards. Try to be try to be more mindful and present and in the moment. And it looks like another thing that's going to be really important when it comes to our actions is going inward a little bit. Do you know why you're doing certain things? Do you know why you're choosing certain actions, the actions you're choosing to take? Do you understand your motivation? Asking yourself these questions and allowing yourself to respond, being open to receiving that information from your higher self, and allowing quiet time for it to come to you, not pressuring it, to come, but just being open to receiving, I think is going to be important. There may be specific actions that you're taking that you feel confused about, and it looks like it's really not good to just go ahead and push through with that. It seems like there's a need to understand ourselves better in regards to the actions that we take, in regards to what we are inspired by, and also what we have a passion for. Why do we have the passions that we have? What is our motivation? So doing a little bit of introspection. Again, this goes along with the relaxing and being mindful, taking a vacation, all of this, it'll come more naturally if you put yourself in those sorts of experiences and allow yourself to do that, to unwind and loosen up. Really paying attention to our actions and questioning them, asking questions. And this isn't about mentally figuring them out again or analyzing it, having to come up with the right answer. It's really not. It's more about the asking. It's more about coming up with the questions. And it's about being open and willing to receive an answer and not being attached to the answer being this or that. Being open to whatever comes into your mind or whatever sign you get as a possibility. Another thing with this card is your curiosity is going to be your friend. So it's okay to be curious. It's okay to be curious about yourself and your behaviors and your actions and what motivates you, what inspires you, your passions. It's okay to be curious about all of these. It's good. It's okay to be curious about the world around you and what's going on. And it's okay to be curious about other people's actions. I think it's just important to not let it get too busy. Not to overwhelm ourselves with data and mental clutter and too much investigation. It's the curiosity, like I said, is going to be your friend, but try to approach it in a lighthearted, playful way, a way that feels good. Let your emotions be your guidance system as to what feels good and what doesn't. Okay, and now water. If you are feeling any dark emotions, if you are feeling stuck, low vibrational emotions, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling desperate, if you're feeling trapped, overwhelmed, worthless, powerless, grief, any of that, the answer is to just allow. Just allow to a certain extent. I know for myself anyway, sometimes I find myself going into my mind trying to come up with solutions for things, which of course sometimes in life that's very appropriate. That's what we need to do. But when it comes to emotions this summer and these low vibrational things, feeling dense energy that's unpleasant and stuck, the first step is to just allow it to be, rather than try to fight against it and look for a way out. So, you know, how do we conquer this grief? Goodness, how do I stop being sad and looking for all of the ways to do that? Really just allowing yourself to be with it, and then allowing things to change, allowing the currents to kind of sweep you and go with it. You know, when things come up into your mind or into a possibility from external situations. So, you know, if somebody says to you, calls you on the phone and says, hey, do you want to go to a movie tonight? Going with what will feel better. Does it feel good to say yes, or does it feel good to say no? And going with that. In relationships, as well, where emotions are involved. So especially, you know, romantic relationships, but it can also be friendships or any sort of relationship where there's an emotional involvement. When you feel some sort of hard emotion, something that does not feel good, and especially the more intense ones, you know, not something that's just mildly unpleasant, but especially the things that are really unpleasant. If that comes up from fighting or disagreeing or anything, any way that it comes up, if you're feeling that, I feel that the cards are suggesting not to be a doormat and just do whatever the other person wants, okay? But rather to try to release and relax more and try to be more flexible. So what, you know, the saying of, like, you have to pick your battles, right? What things can you let go and let others have their way about, and, you know, not be compromising your values or principles, not compromising something that's really important to you so that you feel compromised. But what can you let go of? What can you let the others have their way about? In what areas can you let them lead and still be comfortable? And it may bring some of us out of our comfort zone somewhat, but that's a judgment call about, you know, what you're willing to experience, what new things you're willing to try, and what is just too much for you, okay? But definitely loosening up and finding some more flexibility and being able to experience where others want to lead you. It'll bring new experiences, new things to you, and you may benefit from it. You might discover new things that you didn't know. You might have experiences that you never would have had before that you really enjoy and you learn. You know, you may be appreciated for it. Others may view you in other ways that they wouldn't, you know, because you're changing and you're allowing yourself to be a little more flexible, instead of so demanding, instead of having to win. It looks like really, you know, just it looks like that's the way to to really get the emotional support and help that we need, because as humans, we all need others, right? We're sociable animals. Even when we're antisocial, we still have other people in our life. We still depend on other people, and to be completely alone in this world and never talk to another soul or never have any sort of involvement, it's not healthy. It lowers our lifespan. It's really against nature. So, you know, there's give and take in relationships, and even though we may have strong opinions, and they may be based in great logic about, you know, what is the best way to do something, right and wrong, those kinds of things, to understand that, first of all, even when we're right, sometimes the best way is to let other people live their lives and to come up with answers on their own, to come to that conclusion on their own. But second of all, that everybody has their own path, and even regardless of how it looks to us, everybody knows what's best for them deep inside. I believe that anyway. It might be blocked from you, but deep inside, I know what's best for me more than any other person on this planet. I'm, the authority on me. And that's true for everybody else too. So kind of loosening the grip and allowing others to be involved in group settings, in one-on-one relationships and partnerships, to kind of even the playing field if you are somebody who dominates these relationships. Okay. So I'm just going to look over these one more time and see how they fit together. If there's anything else, any other messages that I'm getting to convey. All right, so another important thing that I see in here is that if any of you have been feeling isolated at all, and as water signs, a lot of us have a tendency to do that, to go inward and to shut others out and to live within our own world to an extent, because we can be very emotional and we don't want to get hurt, and sometimes it's just the energies become too much. Other people's energies, things they say, we're sensitive, so it can become too much. So especially if this spring or winter, recently you have kind of pulled away from friends or groups or social events, community. In the summer, the cards are asking you to come back out from your introversion, to start coming back out, to become a little more social and start interacting with others again. So if you haven't done that, this may or may not apply to you. If you feel like you've always been that way, that you've always been antisocial, any of that, still the cards still look like they're asking you to come out of that. This doesn't, small steps matter. You don't have to go to an extreme. You don't have to go from, just only talking to one person for 3 months to being at the biggest party in town and, hitting up all of the bars. Work with your intuition, your emotional guidance system. If it involves coming out of your comfort zone, do that, but don't push yourself so far that you feel horrid, that you feel horrible and panicky. And then when if you do that, and then if you have extreme social anxiety, then yeah, it will, even taking a small step will feel that way. But, so if you are one of those people and you do that, and then you still feel that way when you're in a social situation, it doesn't ease off, then it's time to make sure you're loving yourself and doing what you need to do for you. Giving yourself credit for the progress you made, and making yourself a little more comfortable. Okay. Another thing is, well, a big theme with all of these cards is to not isolate people with our judgments and the way we talk to people, to not push them away if possible, we have tendencies and habits and things, to try to work through those and become better at including others, being less judgmental, so that we're not pushing people away and isolating ourselves from them, and always focusing on how we're different and how we're, the separations between us. And it looks like if there may be something that you've been working towards, it's in the action sector, and the motivations and the passions. So there may be something that you have been pushing for, that you have been working for, that you have been taking action steps towards, and especially around learning. So this could be school for a lot of people, or some of you, and you're just not there yet, and it's bothersome, or you're searching for an answer and you're doing some sort of physical searching, whether that is whether that's you going to libraries and doing research, or going on some sort of journey to another state and trying to dig up information about the past, or what else could that be? Anything where you're taking actions and you're trying to find some sort of answer. So again, this could be school related, but this could be what does it feel like to be a size 8, or to have a 6-pack or something like that, okay, and you're going to the gym and so forth, right? Anything like that that you have been working towards that you don't have the answer to yet, it's okay. Stay curious and mindful in your behaviors and your actions. And of course, passions, motivation as well. So if you're searching for, you don't feel passionate, you're searching for a hobby or something to be passionate about, just stay curious and mindful when you're taking actions. And so your motivations, like I was talking about, going inward. Stay curious, stay mindful in your actions. So it looks like overall the advice from these cards for the summer is to relax, unwind, be in the present as much as possible, appreciate the mystery, the universe, allow that natural curiosity and wonder, and go with it. Try to de-stress, relax. Like I said, have a relaxing summer. You may want to slow down when it comes to physical stuff. If you are moving very quickly and it feels rapid, if it's very much in your head, analytical, or do I do this, do I do that, well I gotta do this by Wednesday, and I've got to do that by next week, and I'm not really sure how this is going to work out, but I need this and this to happen so this can happen, and so forth. And I need to, if you're really stuck on something too, like I need to make more money and I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going around and I'm looking for all of these jobs and so forth, it's really going to help to bring it back in, come back to nature, do some meditation, relax, observe the beauty, do what makes you feel good. It's going to improve your health, which is important. And from there, that your health is your wealth, right? So anything that you're trying to straighten out on a physical realm, improving your health and de-stressing when you come back and look at it, reevaluate the situation, it's going to be easier, smoother, I think. You're going to have greater success, and it's going to be in better alignment with your highest ideals, what you truly want and need. All right, so what else? That's about it. Just try to come out of your head a little bit to have some fun and relax, take care of yourself, follow your emotional guidance system. Don't isolate yourself and be overly judgmental, because interacting with others is a part of what makes life wonderful and enjoyable, and can be a part of your de-stressing, your fun, your enjoying life. It's about being able to attract the right support system, the right people, and developing that inner confidence from nurturing yourself in these ways, I think will be helpful. So, thank you very much for letting me read your cards. Comments and questions are very welcome. Leave them below. Please give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and I hope I get to hear about some of your summers.